Hello, hello, hello. Happy Monday to you all. I'm Roxanne Carne, personal wardrobe stylist based here in beautiful Dallas, Texas. And today is Monday, December 18th. I hope you all have had a wonderful weekend and are getting all your holiday shopping done. I got my butt into gear last week and finally started getting on that train finally. It's been such a busy styling season for us, getting our clients taken care of for their wardrobes and their holiday festivities and all that. That of course my stuff comes last, but I started making a good little headway, so I'm excited about that. But I'm so happy to see you here again today, and yeah, just totally enjoying the holiday season. Last week I shared with you that I had started my annual. The volunteering that I do with Community Partners of Dallas. Last week was the second and final week, even though I have a little bit more virtual support that I'm giving them this week. But the toy drive we had was absolutely amazing. We had tons and tons and tons of toys donated. So thank you to all of you in the DFW area that supported by filling women's, not women's, children's wishes rather, for their Christmas gifts. But no, it was a great week overall. It is definitely getting colder here. I've been putting on my layers, and I've got my little space heater on right now because I tend to run cold. And look, ladies, you know, when it comes to style, you want to look cute and everything. Sometimes you want to show some skin, but you also have to be practical as well. And again, I run cold, so this time of year, even though I was born in November and I'm from New York, which is like so cold this time of year, I do not like cold weather. I love dressing for it, but I don't like being in it, and I'm cold all the time. So if you know me, I'm always like have some layers available, or I don't like air conditioning blowing on me. I like to be next to the heater, all that jazz. But it's been really, really fun dressing for the fall winter season so far. But I'm excited today because I've got a really great show for you. We're going to be talking about a whole lot of stuff. I'm going to be walking you down memory lane from the 70s. We're going to be talking about Pantone's 2024 color of the year, and I'll be sharing my thoughts on that. Also going to be talking to you a little bit about Zara and the little bit of scandal that Zara had last week, as well as sharing some insights with you about the different types of leathers that we can rock for the fall winter season. And of course, showing a goodie from my wardrobe, Fab Find of the Week, all the good stuff. So I'm so happy to share all this with you today. All right, well, let's jump into things. We're going to kick things off with our Monday memory, and gave you a little clue before. So with our Monday memory today, I just wanted to take a moment and reflect on the 70s a little bit from a fashion and sartorial standpoint. You know, the 70s, it's funny, growing up, I was born in the late 70s. I was born in 78. Growing up, I like hated 70s fashion. An 80s girl, you know, the new romantics and you know, the punk rock era and all that. That was kind of like my childhood, and then also the birth of hip hop as well. That had a major influence on fashion. But when it came to the 70s, I just never liked it because, you know, all I had images of were consistently polyester, right? The super spread collar, the bell bottoms, right? And it just like, you know, think of like Scooby Doo, right? It just wasn't inspiring. The decor, the colors, all of that just wasn't my jam. But as I've gotten older and have been more versed in kind of like the history of fashion through the work that I do as a stylist, I really have come to appreciate the gems that the 70s gave us. I mean, it was more than just, again, bell bottoms, polyester, and disco. There were other elements that actually we see repeated, as with other fashion eras, honestly, time and time again. So I wanted to kind of give you a little glimpse of what else the 70s had to offer. You know, there was lots of introduction of like embroidery. Let me check my notes here. There are cool things I wanted to share with you. The knitting, crochet, patchwork, synthetic materials, again, the polyester that came to be, but it kind of evolved in a space that there were actually some really cool pieces for women. So I'm going to show you this image here that kind of encapsulates a little bit of it. So here we have the disco look, again, 70s, very much a thing, right? But then the 70s was also when Diane von Furstenberg, aka DBF, brought us the wrap dress. Now she is coined with inventing the wrap dress. While technically that might not be true, she is who really brought it to the forefront, and that was her staple, like then and now. So we had the beautiful wrap dress into play, and then we also had kind of exaggerated proportions. And this is exactly what I mean about history repeating itself and us stepping into fashion from years before. In my autumn trend report, my fall winter trend report, basically, that we release every year. We do two reports. We do a trend report for spring summer and one for fall winter. And one of the major trends that I forecasted for the season was large proportions, big proportions, voluminous proportions, right? So Norma Kamali actually kind of brought this to the forefront in the 70s. And I don't think a lot of people really realize this, again, because we don't think about the 70s in this way. So I thought it would be really, really cool to show you some inspiration, kind of taking a trip down memory lane. And then again, acknowledging, yes, fashion does repeat in more, maybe perhaps more modern interpretations, but it's definitely there. And if you have not downloaded my free report, we're going to include that link in the show notes, where you can get pretty much, I think this year I want to say it was like 13 major trends that I was seeing for this season. But I also want to show you, we're talking a little bit about Yves Saint Laurent. I wanted to show you the some pieces from his this is from his 1971 Liberation runway show that was really kind of meant to be, it was regarded as being extremely scandalous. And when I was looking and I was prepping for today's show and trying to checking, pretty much checking everything out, I was like, in today's standards, a lot of the stuff is definitely not scandalous, but I can appreciate kind of where they were coming from, that point of view. But this first picture, I can definitely say, yeah, that was scandalous. They even have it noted down here: a scandalous look from a scandalous show. And what the reason why this was scandalous was that Yves Saint Laurent, up until this time period, he was known for very, I would say, androgynous looks, and looks that really played between that masculine, feminine, which he did carry out a little bit through his designs, well into the 70s, but bringing more femininity to the forefront in some of these designs, as we can see with this gorgeous outfit here. I mean, look at that. It's a very fitted blazer with these diamond straps right here, right? That's so pretty. Your bust needs to be like the perfect size to be able to wear this, I think. To pull it off and have the straps draped the way they do. She looks absolutely gorgeous. So I thought that was really cool. Let's see what else we had from that show. This one here, not a scandalous look at all. This is a suit from the show. Pretty understated look, I think. This one's really beautiful, this dress. So here we've got that waist accented and that boa. It looks like a mink. Is it a mix? It's a silver fox. Silver fox, beautiful. Not scandalous. This is a sequin lit. So there is a famous evening coat from this collection that has these lips all over it. And I think we do see a shot of that a little bit later on. Here's another one. which was meant to be, looks like a cigarette sticking out of the lip. It was the 70s, everybody smoked. And here we have this beautiful tailored suit that has got some accented trim, right? Almost kind of like piping all around. Really, really pretty. We definitely see looks like this today, but this one is accented with a turban. Something that we definitely saw a lot more, kind of like hats and turbans and wraps and so on in the 70s. So Yves Saint Laurent was definitely channeling that. Here's the pinstripe suit. This one is double breasted. We have a slightly wide lapel on this, but again, very fitted for the female form. And then we also have that fox fur accent that, she maybe could wrap around and use as a stole or put it over her shoulders. That is a beautiful, beautiful look. And here is kind of a suit separate. So we've got the pinstripe trouser on the pant. This is a high waisted one. You can see the shape of her hips here, really, really lovely. And a beautiful halter blouse. Looks like it's got a little bit of stripe. I'm not sure if it's a knit or a silk, but very feminine nonetheless. Here's a maxi dress. So this is a printed Grecian maxi dress. So you can see the Grecian motif here. I mean, look at the you look like it looks like you're looking at a painting. This took time to do for sure in terms of getting that silhouette, that shape, that draping. That's a really, really beautiful piece. I love that. And we have it accented with a sheer scarf, which probably maybe has like a similar theme. Another turban moment here. This is what they say, a daytime look, a day look. So short sleeve blouson. Looks like this one is definitely silk and it's got a pussy bow. Really, really cute. Beautiful tailored trouser. I gotta tell you what, I love a tailored trouser. I mean, that is definitely my favorite type of pant. When you have something that is high waisted, just drapes over the hips and it just comes straight down and you've got that pleat right in the front. I think that to me, there's no woman that wouldn't look good in something like that. Honestly, absolutely beautiful. Um, a belted evening dress. Now, I'm pretty sure I got to see this dress in person a few years ago. My husband and I went when we lived in Northern Virginia. We visited a museum in Richmond, and we went there for the sole purpose of seeing Yves Saint Laurent dress collection. Oh my gosh, I've got to dig back in my archive of photos because I have endless photos from that exhibit. It was gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And the cool thing too was that it also included paper dolls that he used to cut and play with as a child because he was always into women's fashion and like his sketches. All of that was part of this exhibit. Really, really beautiful. But seeing this, I'm pretty sure I saw that in person at the collection. I love that we've got that suede texture in the middle, again highlighting the woman's smallest portion of her waist, and really creating that proportional look from a visual standpoint. A mini dress, we got embroidery, kind of a corset moment going on in between here. It's kind of cool. And yeah, this is that coat I was telling you about, the evening coat. So check this out. Do we have another? No, that's the only photo of it. So it looks like it's about a little longer than knee length. It looks velvet. That is so fun. I would totally wear something like this, especially it's got pink involved. I'm there. But yeah, that's really, really cool. And it looks like it seems like there's only one set of lips that has that cigarette. So that's cool. That makes that really, really stand out. I would love to see that in person. This is nice. This is, ooh, a green. Of course, it's not, it's dyed. But this is another fox fur coat. That color, stunning, great for the fall season. So yeah, those are some looks at what Yves Saint Laurent did in the early 70s. And again, I don't think that that was scandalous at all. I really don't. I feel like if anything, it was kind of like future telling because a lot of these pieces that we just looked at we have either worn or we can see being, implemented today. So yeah, I think I think that was a really cool way to go down memory lane and doing a little bit of a deeper dive into Yves Saint Laurent. So let me know what you think about the 70s. Like when you think of the 70s, is it like me? Were you thinking that it's all just kind of like polyester, disco, bell bottoms? Or do you look at it with fond memories for the maybe the better things that happened in fashion? I'm curious to know your thoughts on that, and let me know as well in the comment section what you think about that flashback to Yves Saint Laurent Liberation runway show in 1971. Okay, all right, and if you haven't already, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. It's super helpful to my channel and the YouTube algorithm. And when I say share, I want you to share this with other women that you think may get some inspiration from the little golden nuggets that I have to share about fashion and style. Okay. All right. So let's move right along to some hot happenings that we have going on this week. Okay. So, where we're going to lead things off are basically the Pantone color of the year. Okay. So the Pantone color of the year, this is Pantone has been doing this now for 25 years. And Pantone is a color institute in which they have members from all over the world. So it is a global institute that are fashion designers, interior designers, architects, things like that. And what they do is that from year to year, they compile um, their thoughts and what they're seeing that's happening from a consumer standpoint in terms of what colors people are gravitating toward. And, colors are a very emotional thing. They evoke a lot of emotions, whether bad, good, indifferent. And so they collectively kind of come up with what direction they see that going for the next year. And it was really interesting because when I went to their website, I clicked on, how do we figure out our colors? They had a whole lot to say, but they didn't really say anything. It wasn't like a process. I was hoping that they would give a little bit more of a detailed view of the steps that they take to get at that process, but perhaps, they don't do it because it's proprietary. That totally makes sense to me. But I really, I do appreciate the influences that they tap into. So what they have noted is that the color influences can come from, and this is straight from their website, and I'll have the link for this in the show notes as well. But it can come from the entertainment industry, films and production, traveling art collections and new artists, fashion, hell yeah, all areas of design, aspirational travel destinations, new lifestyles, play styles, enjoyable escape, socioeconomic conditions as well. And they also may stem from, I thought this was really interesting, new technologies, materials, textures, and effects that impact color, relevant social media platforms, and also upcoming sporting events. So, again, it's a really, really wide net that's cast. And I again, I personally would love to know like a deeper dive as to how they, collate all this information, how they disseminate it. Do they do it in stages? Do they start off with one color and then, halfway through they're like, wait a minute, we're seeing that another color is emerging that's going to be really popular. But anyway, I just thought that that was really, really interesting. But let me go ahead and share with you the Pantone 2024 color of the year, which is peach fuzz. Okay. Whoops, let me get this back in place here. Wait, hold on. Let me put that back on. There we go. Okay. So peach fuzz, embrace the warmth. So it's basically a very soft peach. It is a warm tone. And let me share with you what they described it as. Okay. Let me move this over a little bit here. So the Pantone 13 1023. Pantone does have different color numbers for each color, just kind of like when you're, going and shopping for like paint chips and whatnot. Each color has their own designated number. But what Pantone says is that peach fuzz captures our desire to nurture ourselves and others. It's a velvety, gentle peach tone. That's what I said. Very soft, whose all-embracing spirit enriches mind, body, and soul. In seeking a hue that echoes our innate yearning, this is a quote from Latrice Eisman, who is the executive director of Pantone. But she says that in seeking a hue that echoes our innate yearning for closeness and connection, we chose a color radiant with warmth and modern elegance, a shade that resonates with compassion, offers a tactile embrace, and if effortlessly, I can't speak, effortlessly bridges the youthful with the timeless. All right, so this is our peach fuzz going on right here. I'll just drop it here in the center. Um, Color of the year. So I have to admit, when the color was announced, and this was announced just a week before last week, I didn't have enough time during our show to share this particular story. But was I was a little bit underwhelmed, honestly, when I saw the color. And not that it isn't a pretty color, but I think the reason that I was underwhelmed with it, and this is just me from a styling standpoint, is that that is a very challenging color for a lot of people to wear full on. Okay. As and when I say full on, either as one piece or wearing it as a shirt, blouse, or jacket without having something break it. And again, it's a beautiful color, but it can be a difficult color to style if it does not align with the person's best, their skin tone, if it's not the best color. So if you are a client of mine, one of the first things that we do in our style foundation is that we determine your 60 best colors. I have various drapes that we put on, and we are kind of narrowing to see what those best colors you are. Excuse me, what the best colors are that work for you. And, we're either going to be a cool undertone, warm undertone. And usually most colors work for people, but it's getting the right shade. It's getting the right saturation, getting the right hue, right? Getting the right tint, tone, shade. Okay. So the color as it is that I just showed you for the Peach Fuzz Pantone 2024 color of the year, I think is a hard color for styling. But what I did do, and this is the direction that I would go with it, honestly. If it's a color that really does not resonate with your skin color, your hair color, and your eye color, I do think that this is a good color that you can use as an accent, as an accessory. So what I did was that I came up, and again, this link will be available in the show notes, but I put together our, let me get it up here, a little tap to shop here. Let me just show you the screen with it. Bear with me here as I go ahead and switch screens. There we go. So here are some pieces that I put together that that kind of represent this. So I've got this cute jumpsuit from Simkai. I included that. It is a little bit softer than the Pantone color that we saw, but definitely within the same family. That is a fantastic price for that jumpsuit. That's why I included it. But you can see everything else that I have here. We've got accessories. So I think that this would be a really, really great pairing to go with colors like soft teals, like this really pretty tinted purple. Here we have a little bit of yellow. There's that soft teal again, a soft yellow. So if you start off with the base color, because those colors for that tone, excuse me, that tone, I'll show you my color wheel here. The greens and the purples are the triad, and actually a little bit too of the complementary colors on the color wheel, right? So this is a really handy tool that I love to use when styling my clients and getting clothes that really complement each other in terms of color matching, right? So as you can see visually, these colors look really, really good. So if you are someone that is more cool toned and you can wear, and not everyone that's cool tone can wear teal because I'm more warm tone. I can do teal, but my teal is a deeper one. Okay. But in looking at the examples that I'm showing here, these two colors here and here, trying to get back to my mouse here, they look really, really good um, with having the peach fuzz accent. So you have that as a core, and then you bring in the accent as the shoe, as the handbag, right? As another shoe. Here's another handbag that actually also really nicely ties in complementary colors. So if you're interested in seeing the collage that I have here, just check out the show notes afterward. We'll have that link there for that top to shop. And these are actually all pieces that you can buy if your heart so desires, right? But I wanted to give you a little bit of inspiration just because I do know that that is a color that is pretty, it's pretty tricky to dress and to style whole on as a whole for a lot of skin types. All right. So those are my thoughts about Pantone's color of the year for 2024 Peach Fuzz. Let me know what you think about it. I want to know, is that a color that speaks to you? Does it evoke warmth? Is it a color that you look at and you're like, oh my gosh, I totally would wear that. I want to wear that. Or is it kind of like falling flat for you a little bit like it did with me? And if it did, maybe is there a way that you could maybe rock that color by bringing in some other complementary colors that then you can use the peach fuzz as a great accent. So let me know in the comments below. And again, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. It totally helps me out. Let's Come on, let's get everything going with this algorithm for YouTube, okay? All right, so that wraps up that segment. And this is just a little gentle reminder for you. The show is brought to you by me. It's brought to you by me. I'm sponsoring the show, right? I am the show and I'm sponsoring the show. But this is just a great reminder for you, as we are approaching the end of the year. Right now, our thoughts are very much consumed with holiday shopping, holiday entertaining, whether you are the host or if you're going to be entertained. And it's busy, 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 busy right up to New Year. We're eating, we're drinking, we're having fun. But in the midst of all of that, I don't want you to forget about you, right? You cannot take care of others and you can't pour yourself into others if your cup is not full. So I just want to remind you that your image is a really, 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 really integral part of your life success. And I want you to think as you're going into the new year, I want you to ask yourself honestly, or even just right now with what you're wearing, I want you to tell me, and you can, if you're brave enough to put it in the chat. I challenge people to do this all the time. Usually it's crickets, but I want you to put in the chat, do you love what you are wearing today? Do you feel amazing? When you woke up and you put that look together this morning, did you feel like you were rocking it? Or are you sitting and, at your desk at work and you're just like, wah, wah, like, I probably could have done better. If your answer to that question is anything less than amazing and fantastic, then we need to talk. As a personal stylist, my role is to help you unlock what is getting in the way of you looking and feeling your best, but also sharing with you immediately in the very beginning of the work we do together in unlocking what your custom blueprint is to style. Believe me, it changes your relationship with your wardrobe. But to get to that point, what you should do first is book that style intensive. That link is going to be in my show notes. It takes you straight to my calendar. You go on, you pick a good time that works for you, and you go ahead and get that time with me so that we can really do that unlocking together. Too many women really delay on taking care of themselves. And I don't want that to be you going into the new year. The Style Intensive, it's free, it's via Zoom. And my only caveat is that I only want you to book that intensive with me if you're really, really, really serious about wrapping your arms around your style and taking a step forward for yourself. Okay. So that is my invite to have a little chat with me, and let's get to the bottom of what's going on in your wardrobe together. All right. All right. So next, all right, hot happenings part two. So if you were kind of, following news last week, you may have seen this come across your news feed. So fashion retailer Zara, they took an L last week. And the reason why was that they released a campaign the prior week, just like I think it was December 7th or something. They released a marketing campaign that had some images that ended up being rather controversial. And what the rub was that the people for the most part that had complaints about the marketing campaign, they felt that it was insensitive given what's going on right now with the Israeli and Palestinian conflict, right? Israel and Palestine. And they felt that some of the images were offensive with, again, what's going on, and that Zara should have been a little bit more sensitive to that. So what I want to do, and it was interesting because when I first got wind of the story, and the link that I'm going to be sharing with you today is the initial article from WWD that was one of the ones to maybe break the story. I was like, oh wow, I think this is something that I want to talk about on my channel. But then I gave pause because I was like, you know how YouTube is, and like I don't know if I want to talk about anything that's controversial. But as I was kind of going down my own path, I was like, you know what? First of all, this is my show. I can talk about whatever I want. A, but B, I did actually have some thoughts that I wanted to share about it myself. So please, go on this little path with me. I do value everyone's opinion. Toward the end of the segment, I will share with you what my opinion is. But before I share that, I want to actually walk you through what some of the images were, so that in case, again, if you haven't seen it, and you might not have seen it too, because Zara immediately pulled the images from their website, from any other like online advertising. I had to do a little digging myself to find the images, but let me go ahead and show them to you to see what we're talking about here. So here's the first image. Okay, looks like it's in a studio. You see some plaster, sculpture, and the campaign was called The Jacket, which we see right here. So the point of the campaign was all about this jacket that seems to have kind of look a little bit like of a patchwork moment going on. So there's that one. Here's another one. So this is more of a wide lens. Let me come over here so we can get more context with the picture. And where the controversy was that the pro-Palestine supporters felt that showing images with mannequins that don't have any arms and things like that, this looks like it could be a body that's wrapped up. This could look like a potential coffin, things like that. That's where the ire was. Okay, let's look at this one. So then this is just a shot of some of the broken plaster and a shot of one of the models, with like plaster all over his hair, hands, because he's interacting with the sculpture. Okay, so here is Zara's apology. I wanted to read this out to you. This was done via Instagram and probably other outlets as well. After listening to comments regarding the latest Zara Atelier campaign, The Jacket, we would like to share the following with our customers. The campaign that was conceived in July and photographed in September presents a series of images of unfinished sculptures in a sculptor's studio and was created with the sole purpose of showcasing craft made garments in an artistic context. Unfortunately, some customers felt offended by these images, which have now been removed, and saw them in something far from what was intended when they were created. Zara regrets that misunderstanding, and we affirm our deep respect towards everyone. Okay, so that was the statement that Zara issued. Okay, and as the week went on and there was more talk about it and there were more articles, I did come across another article. This is from Business of Fashion, which I'm a member of, and this seems like it was an op-ed piece just based on the context. But this particular author, Diana Pearl is her name, had this to share. The fashion industry can't seem to learn from its marketing mistakes. This week, fast fashion giant Zara found itself at the center of a social media firestorm for a campaign gone wrong. Called The Jacket, imagery showed models surrounded by broken down wooden crates, shards of drywall, and mannequins wrapped in plastic. Online, the scenes almost immediately drew a comparison to photos of the devastation from the Israel Hamas war in the Gaza Strip, which is what I surmised for you. Within days, Zara pulled the ads and apologized on Instagram for any offense caused, stating that the campaign, which was meant to depict, quote, a series of images of unfinished sculptures in a sculpture studio and was created with the sole purpose of blah, 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 the quote that I read to you, had been conceptualized and shot before the war began in October. The post received over 271,000 mostly negative comments. There's no question that Zara releasing the jacket in the current climate was a mistake. The wider pattern, a brand releases a campaign or product that at best insensitive and at worst racist or predatory, consumers hit back on social media. The brand repents. It has become all too familiar in recent years, which in that last sentence, I do agree with that seems to be a cycle that we're seeing. Okay, so I want to share my thoughts on this. When I went down the rabbit hole trying to find the images, and once I found them, I'm looking at them and I'm like, okay, I get it. This is interesting. I understand where they're going. I get it. I get it. Personally, and this is my opinion. So again, this is my opinion. Do not try to come for me. Okay. This is my opinion. And I'm also open to other opinions and viewpoints and perspectives. I think having a healthy discussion and debate about things that maybe we may feel differently on is totally fine. I embrace that. But my opinion is that when I looked at it, I didn't see anything personally that was offensive. Um, I looked at it in the exact way that actually Czar surmised it. And I'm like, okay, job well done there, because when they explain the context of it, it's exactly what I thought. I'm like, oh, okay. They're putting together, the sculpture, and looking maybe from the lens of a museum curator, for example, where you're getting in a big shipment, these pieces are extremely heavy. And then, or if you're building it or, chiseling it, whatever you do as a sculptor, there's mess, there's powder, there are chunks of plaster all over, right? Which we did see depicted in that scene. Plastering your hair, your hands, your lab coat, whatever. And the fact too that it was very stark. It was gray, white, because most sculpted what do you call them? Sculptures. Sculptures are usually made of that type of material. Um, so it was very stark. So it made sense to me because the jacket definitely stood out as being a very contrasting color with the black and navy blue colors, right? It popped out. Um, so, and then like the mannequin, I mean, I have a mannequin in my studio right here. Her arms aren't on. Yep. And you put the mannequin on just as we saw in that image, you're twisting it on. So I'm looking at it and I don't know, maybe I'm looking at it from a creative standpoint that I'm like, okay, this is what I see. This is what I'm interpreting. I didn't see anything offensive about that. And this is where my opinion comes in. I feel that, and I don't know if it's a generational thing. I don't know if it's a social media thing because now we have access to everybody's thoughts, everyone's opinions all of one. And people people tend to jump on bandwagons for sure. You're right. They always want to be on the right side of something. And everyone, again, is entitled to their own opinion. But I just felt like this particular backlash was not warranted. And when I thought about the logistics of it, and again, this was also captured in Zara's statement, when I looked at it and I thought about, okay, it got released early December. So that means that shoot had to take place at least 4 to 6 months prior to this. And they said it took place over the summer. This was before the conflict started. Okay. And clearly that was not their intent. Oh, this was another thing that I forgot to mention. Actually, I'm going to pull back one of the images and show you. Was it this one? Yeah. So one of the other gripes that the people that were not agreeing with the campaign shared was that they felt like this portion right here, it looked like the map of Palestine. And actually, when you take this piece that's right next to the guy that's wearing the jacket and you do a mirror image of it, it sort of looks like it. It's not too far from it, but that's not like, are you kidding me? Seriously, this is to me, this is ridiculous. To me, this is reaching. We're looking for things that aren't there. And not to say that people's feelings aren't valid. You can feel whatever you want. But I just think that this is just too far. And I understand why Zara did ultimately pull the ad. Um, I don't think that they needed to, honestly. If it was my brand and that's what I did, honestly, I would say, well, here's the story and the context behind it. And I hope you can appreciate it for what it is. Okay. Now, there are brands that do have major missteps, like, last year with Balenciaga. That was a big deal. And the imagery on that was shocking and disturbing. And that ad definitely needed to be pulled. But it's just funny, like we can't get through one year without there being like some type of fashion scandal, right? But when I looked at this, I was just like, guys, like I don't see it. I don't think it's substantiated. I don't think it's warranted that there was this backlash and now, everyone's jumping all over Zara for it. I don't think that the images were offensive. I do not think that it should have caused the level of controversy that it did. And this is what I'm wondering, is it a generational thing? Are we just getting a little bit too sensitive, right? Um, there is a line where, wokeness, honestly, I think has been going way too far. And I'm like, it's getting you to the point where you're walking about life and you're like looking, like you're looking for shit to complain about, right? And I'm just saying this with a broad stroke, right? I just feel like the backlash that Zara got on this particular ad campaign was just too much. And, again, I'm open to other viewpoints for sure. But I wanted to, at the very least, after I was kind of noodling and saying, do I want to talk about this on my show or not? I was like, no, I want to talk about it because I do think that it's gone too far. And this was an example where I don't think Zara was in the wrong. But again, I understand why they pulled it. They've got a brand to maintain, right? They want to keep their customers happy. They want to keep the customers coming back. But in the era of being canceled and all that, I understand why they did it. But I just don't think that what I showed you today in terms of those images substantiated them having to take that step. So I would love to know what you think about that whole scandal last week, based off of what you may have read or heard, based off of the images that I showed you and the different the articles. Again, the original article for WWD I'm going to have in the show notes for you. But I'd love to know, do you disagree with me? Do you see it from a different perspective when you saw those images? Did it evoke images of war to you? Or do you agree with my viewpoint that it looked like images of, sculptures coming together in a sculptor's studio? I would love to know. So make sure that you comment in the comment section. Let me know your opinion. And I want this to be a safe, respectful space. There's no need to be nasty. All opinions are welcome, but I do want to have a healthy discussion about this, particularly if you do have a different viewpoint, I would love to understand. Okay, awesome. So comment, like, share, subscribe. Don't forget, right? We need some love for our channel to grow because I feel like I have very important messages that I'm trying to share with as many ladies as I can when it comes to their personal style, and a little bit of style therapy, a little bit of fun, fashion news. And I would love for more and more of you to participate and watch with me every single week. Okay? All right. So let's see. What do I want to talk about next? Yeah, we're gonna do our style secret next. All right. So this week's style secret is actually more of I would say education as opposed to a hack. But with us being in the fall winter season and also with me curating um, these types of pieces for my clients, I thought it would be fun to share some insights with you about how to more or less decode the different textures of leather, right, for the fall and winter season. And leather is an extremely versatile textile. It can keep us warm if it's the right type. Otherwise, wearing like a leather jacket in like New York in wintertime is not a good idea, okay? Unless it's got like a fur lining or it's a shearling or something, which we'll talk about. But it's such a beautiful and timeless material. Leather has been worn since caveman days, right? And from then till now, we've found series and series and series of ways that we can style and use it. So I wanted to share with you 6 different leathers and just tell you a little bit more about each of them. Okay. So first, we're going to kick things off with lambskin. So lambskin really is known for its soft, very supple feel. It's lightweight. In terms of garments, it's great for fitted styles because it holds really, really nicely. And it gives a very polished and elegant look. So I'm going to share with you my one of my lambskin pieces. Okay, so we're bringing out Chanel. Let me turn my heater off. It's getting a little bit hot now. Whew. If I'm hot, that means it's like hot because I'm always cold. Okay, so we have my Chanel. This is my classic flap. So get her out of her little protective covering. And yes, I have all the things, right? I'll just give you a little peek right here. I can actually take that out so you can see it in entirety. Okay, so this is the Chanel classic flap. This is in lambskin. Um, so this is really, again, it's super, super soft, very, very supple. What I will say about lambskin, though, one challenge with it is that it can scratch easily. So if I were to take my fingernail and just go right across, right, you would see a scratch. You can typically rub it out though, but lambskin is very delicate. So it's soft, it's supple, it's lightweight, and you can see here how it bends nicely, right? There's not a whole lot of, it's not tough, right? You can squeeze it. It's a really, really beautiful material. And it also takes dye really, really well, so you can have different colors. But it is a texture that you have to baby. Hence why I have it. Well, I mean, pretty much all of my purses live in their own like dust bag homes, right? That is definitely a thing for me. But lambskin is really, really beautiful. So that is a great texture for the fall winter season. Next up is Napa leather. So let me look at my notes here. So Napa leather is definitely often aligned with high-end luxury. It's a full grain leather that comes from the top grain of the hide. Okay, it's very, very soft, very smooth. But despite its softness and smoothness, it is durable. So I would say this is a little bit more durable than the lambskin that I just showed you. You will see Napa leather used in luxury goods such as handbags, gloves, Car interiors also use Napa leather, but also clothing. So what I'm wearing today, you may have seen this before. Um, this is my oversized Lafayette 148 Napa leather jacket. I highlighted this when we had our fall winter trunk show for Lafayette. So as you can see, it's super, super smooth, soft, right? Look at that. It takes stitching really, really well. And you can see the grain. Look at that. You can see the natural grain, but look how like it's soft. I can put my purse on here and not worried about it getting like super duper wrinkled. It is just a really, really, really great material. So Napa leather is definitely something that you should look for in terms of your leather goods for the fall and winter season. Um, Next up is cowhide. So I'm going to show you a couple examples. So cowhide is definitely more rugged. Okay, you often see that used on moto jackets. Here's one right here. And by the way, the pieces that I'm showing to you, everything I'm showing you, the handbag, the jacket, this jacket, I do have a link to our Tap to Shop page, which has all of these kind of inspiration pieces between the different leathers available for you to check out. But yes, it's very much used for the moto jackets, like you see here, because it's durable, right? You know, you're taking it off, you're folding it up, you know, you're wearing it on the plane, you're wearing it on a motorcycle, right? But the nice thing about it though is that even though it's durable and rugged, it's not, or not necessarily too thick that it's uncomfortable. All right, so here's one, and I found a really cool one. This first one, by the way, is by Shot NYC. This one is by Edox, and I thought that was really cool. And I did check the material on these. This is cowhide. So this is a very kind of edgy jacket where we have a little bit of a cropped corset. And the zip goes right up to the bust line. I think this is hella sexy. And it is, I think it is on sale. I'm not gonna lie, it's expensive though. But I wanted to show it to you to say that cowhide, you know, does not have to be some like super duper rough and tumble type material. It can be very, very much used in fashion and high fashion. So I thought that that was cool. All right. So the next one I want to talk about is goat skin. So goat skin is lightweight, but it is tough. So you will see goat skin a lot of times in gloves. You will see it in shoes as well. So I want to share this shoe with you. This is funny because I actually saw this shoe in person. This is Jill Sander, by the way, and I do have a link for this in our Tap to Shop. I had a little private tour of Jill Sander last Friday morning here in Dallas to view their current collection, and they were showing these their different lines and shoes and so on. And there's one particular portion of the line that is kind of done with Japanese focus, and the theory behind it is we want to take the we want to revel in imperfections, meaning like not everything is perfect, and the beauty is in the imperfection. And so when they were talking about it, they actually talked about the shoes. And this is a side profile of the shoe that you're seeing right here, but they have a flat version as well. And similar to when you could see the grain in my jacket, you could see the grain in the shoe. And to touch it, it feels really soft, but it is durable. So I thought when I saw this, I was like, oh my gosh, I just saw this. And it's nice because it has a little bit of a gloss and a shine to it. So it comes across very high end. It comes across very sophisticated. It's soft, but again, it is durable. So goat skin is something you can definitely look for in a shoe. And then the last, not the last thing, number 5 for you, second to last, is suede. Okay. So suede is actually, let me see what how to say it here. Suede is derived from the French word or phrase gant de suede, which translates as gloves from Sweden. I never knew that. So suede is actually the underside, okay? The underside of the tan hide. So that's where we have a little bit of nap, okay, and that texture that you can feel. Now, suede is really, really good for color dyeing, but out of all the leathers, this one is the most susceptible to staining. So you have to be careful when you are wearing that suede jacket, coat, dress, shoe, boot, that before you start wearing it, and you can buy some at Amazon, but get that suede spray to protect it. To maybe make it a little bit more resistant to stains and or water. But then also, my preference, honestly, is to take it to a cobbler because they deal with leathers all the time and they have like the good stuff. And I just feel like I would be a little bit too clumsy with the can spraying something on my shoe. If I spray too much on, that would freak me out. I want it done professionally. So that's an option for you. But yes, suede is beautiful, but you just have to take a little bit more front end care with it. Okay. So that's one of the popular leathers, of course, of the fall winter season. And the last one is shearling, which is one of my favorites. All right. So shearling, this right here is great for this time of the year. Shearling is a combination of both the leather and the wool. Okay. So most shearling, I believe, is made from sheepskin. So you have the wool of the sheep on one side, and then you have the leather, right, on the other. And in this case, the leather here is more of a suede, but you do have kind of leather moments where you have soft leather like this that is coupled with the wool of that particular animal. Again, a lot of the times it's sheepskin. And it can come in a lot of different colors. I showed a couple of a really nice example actually in that top to shop. Again, that link is available, will be available in the show notes. So here's the back of it. What I find too with a lot of shearling pieces is that they can be reversed, that you can wear it with the wool exposed or the leather exposed. Depends on the style, depends on your mood. So you have that opportunity to do that. And what is also really cool about shearling is that it can be made in different, thank you for that thumbs up. It can be made in different products as well. So, for example, when I went to Jill Sander last week, oh my God, they had some, a handbag nut. They had some gorgeous, gorgeous handbags that were shearling. So I'm going to be posting a video on that on Instagram pretty soon. And if you're not following me on Instagram, make sure you follow. There's my handle right up there. That way you can see my reels, my stories, to see all the fun things that we do here fashion wise. Yeah, there was a beautiful, beautiful shearling. There were like two or three of them that were absolutely gorgeous. Okay. So that's your rundown for our style secret in terms of the different types of leathers that we can rock. To review, we have lambskin, we got Napa leather, like what I'm wearing today, cowhide, goat skin, suede, and shearling. So I would, when you're thinking about these different materials, think about your personal style, think about the intended use, think about the environments that you're going to be when you wear it. It's anything that we put on our bodies, it really needs to be conducive to our lifestyle. But think about leather in really creative ways. Don't think about it as like, oh, I want a pair of leather shoes, or I need a handbag that's leather. You can really think about it in other ways as well, particularly with clothing. So I'd love to know of the different types of leather that I shared with you today. Which ones do you have already that exist in your wardrobe? But also, which ones would you like to incorporate for the fall winter season? And again, if you need inspiration, just check out my link in the comment section. I think we're going to have it pinned to the top of the chat when we get our show notes up. That'll take you straight to our tap to shop that will give you some really good inspiration for how to rock leather this season. Okay. Thank you for watching that. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. All right. Okay, moving along, let us we're going to go into my Fab Find of the week. So let me get it queued up here because I found something. Oh, I know, I already have it. I actually already have it here. So I found a really cool top mm, by St. John, and it was on sale. And I've got the link for this as well in our, it'll be in the show notes. But this is their Pointel Stitch turtleneck sweater. It's in gray. The one obviously you see is gray. It does also come in black. And for those of you that don't know, Pointel is basically when you have a knit that has eyelets in it, that give that it's knitwear basically that has eyelets in it. So you have these tiny little gaps like we're seeing here in the picture. I just looked at this and I thought this was absolutely stunning. It is simple yet elegant. And the beauty about the pointel is that it creates kind of like a graphic effect, sometimes a lacy effect. And when we think about eyelets, we don't really think about eyelets with knitwear. We think about eyelets with cotton and summertime. So this is a really, really interesting take on it. And I think, oh, thank you. Um, and he's got she just posted that top to shop for the St. John's piece, or St. John rather. It's not St. John's, it's St. John. I just think it's absolutely beautiful. Nice turtleneck. And again, it comes in black. The material is nylon and viscose, which makes sense because we need to have that stretch for sure. And right now, it's on sale for $477. It's 40% off. The original price was $795, which is not outside of the realm at all for St. John. St. John is a pricey brand for sure, but their pieces are beautiful. So now it's on sale for $477, and there are various sizes available and two different colors. So yeah, let me know what you think about my Fab Find of the week. Is this something that you would rock in your wardrobe? How would you style it? I feel this is a great piece that transitions from day to night. Even though you do have a little bit of kind of peekaboo moments, I think depending on what you wear underneath it, it does not have to be risque, but it's a beautiful piece overall. So let me know what you think, and don't forget to like this video and share and subscribe to my channel. All right. So, just another friendly reminder that you got to book your style intensive with me. Let's get your style together for 2024. These pieces that I'm showing you throughout our live or pieces that I handpick. This is just a wee portion of the type of work and portion, the type of pieces that I curate for my clients and building their wardrobe for all aspects of their lives. So again, I invite you to come and have a free virtual style intensive with me where we get to break things down one-on-one. And you know what? The great thing about it is that it is a very introspective session. We dig. I ask very pointed questions, and I ask you questions that other people will not ask you when it comes to your image and style. So you get a lot from just having those 60 minutes with me, and I get a lot in terms of understanding what makes you tick and where we could go to make things just beautiful and bright for you in terms of your wardrobe. Okay, so make sure that you visit the link in our show notes. We've got it here in the comments as well. If you just visit my website, go to the contact page. My calendar is right there. It is so easy to book. You just put your name, your email, your phone number, and then we take care of the rest and getting everything you need to prep for the style intensive. Okay. All right. So make sure that you do that for yourself for Christmas. All right. Now I want to do a little bit of what's in my closet. Okay. So I'll show you a dress, and I was telling you, like, I've been on this kick with it being the holidays, right? With it being the holidays, I'm kind of in this like dressy, jazzy mood. And I wanted to show you some really fun party dresses that I had. So here is this piece. Move it over this way. Here we go. This is, I'm going to stand up and show it so you can see a little bit of the scale. But this is a beautiful dress by Tadashi Shoji, Japanese designer. And it is it's kind of like a pointed sequin. As you can see, it's tiered, right? So we have layer after layer after layer. So it allows for a lot of visual movement. Look at that metallic. This dress is amazing. And on me, it comes to just a few inches above my knee. I actually have a picture of it, of me wearing this. This was last year at a party I went to. So you can see where it hits and how it fits. It is a deep V, right? So if you're a girl like me that's got some cleavage, right, you want to make sure that it's positioned in the right way. But yeah, that is the Tadashi Shoji dress. Beautiful, beautiful dress. Great for the holiday season, and certainly a dress that you could rock for New Year's, right? When I see this, I think New Year's, New Year's, New Year's, and you can really dress it up. So I actually have this in our tap to shop as well. And what's interesting is that, I got this dress over a year ago. I want to say I got it about a year and a half ago, but it is still rocking. I think, I don't remember. Click on the tap to shop. We just dropped the link there, but they have it in two different colors. They do not have the silver anymore. They have it in a hot pink and also like an emerald kind of greenish metallic color, which also look really, really pretty. So check that out. Let me know what you think about this other, this other addition to what's in my closet. And I think it's really fun for me to share what I own with you, because a lot of people are interested in my style. You see so much of what's going on with other clients and trunk shows and everything that we have. And obviously you see what I'm wearing, but there's some pieces that, unless you're following me on Instagram, or if it's something that I don't necessarily post, you get that inside track here with me here at Hot Happenings. So let me know what you think. Drop a comment in the comment box and make sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. All right. So as we head to wrap things up, we're going to jump into questions and conversation. So, this part of the show is where you can ask me anything about fashion, style therapy questions, struggles, challenges that you're having. And we got a question that came through via Instagram. Let me see if I can find it. And I think the gist of it was asking actually about how to transition from this isn't a wardrobe question, it's more of a business question, like how to transition from full-time, a 9 to 5. Yes, okay, here we go. So Miss Misfit over on Instagram asked how to transition from a 9 to 5 job to full-time stylist. So Miss Misfit, thank you so much for your question. And what I would say, and this is just the journey that I took, that you're going to be doing both for a while, okay? And whether that means you're seeing clients in the evening, weekends, um, your vacation time from your 9 to 5. That's what I had to do when I started my business, and I did that for a while before completely transitioning. Another thing was save, save, save. You're going to need a buffer of money, and I would say 6 to 12 months worth of salary at least, so that because I would say the only way you can really flourish as a stylist is if you are doing this as a non-side hustle. Like as in this is your only hustle. Because you just have a lot more time to do business. There's so many facets to business. Styling is all great and fun, but a lot of people don't understand the admin and the operations that go behind it. So you need to be able to devote that time. And it's kind of like, you don't want to rip the band-aid off, which is why I'm giving you the advice of shore up some money, have that saved so that when you do transition, then you won't feel like you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. You know what I mean? And then I would say I was very fortunate that I was not on my own. My then fiance, now husband, um, he worked full time. So I did not have that struggle financially, because I had not only my savings, but also he was also keeping the lights on as well. So that allowed me to flourish. But that's going to be my main piece of advice to you is really get those dollars stacked, because it's going to be very, very difficult for you to transition, unless you can go and like live at home. Go back to mom and dad and live at home for a while and not have to worry about rent. But if you got obligations, such as if you got a car payment, student loan, all that stuff, try to get rid of all that stuff. I paid, every car note I've had, I've always paid off early. I do not like having a car note. Clear off any debts that you have, get all that clear so that you don't have a lot of kind of monthly obligations going out, personally, that would otherwise impact you being able to grow your business. So I hope that was helpful to you, Miss Misfit. And for those of you that have any questions, definitely drop them in the comment section. Again, ask me anything. I love kind of giving advice and thoughts about wardrobe and style and colors and kind of challenges with your body. That is my expertise. So definitely leverage me. And then, hopefully your questions and my answers can be helpful to so many of you beautiful women out there that may have the same question too. Okay. All right. So, that pretty much wraps up this week's episode of Hot Happenings. Make sure that you tune in next Monday. What is next Monday? Oh, wait a minute. Next Monday is Christmas. I may do a Christmas show. I may do something. It may not be very long, but I may do something a little bit on Christmas. We'll see. But let's keep things on for next Monday, the 25th at 12 p.m. Central. And please, please, please have a wonderful holiday with your family, your friends, all of your loved ones. Be safe out there if you are traveling this week. I know this week is going to be so, so crazy. Be safe out there as also getting your your last minute Christmas gifts. Remember, and if you didn't see my show last week, shopping should be fun, right? And I gave you some really, really, really good tips on how to avoid the craziness at the malls and the shops, okay? It's all about strategies. So if you didn't catch that last week, go back and watch last week's show, because I give 11 specific tips on how you can, successfully navigate through the holiday shopping season. But have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas. And again, if the biggest gift that you could give me is by liking and by subscribing and by also sharing this video or other videos with those that you care about, other ladies that you really would like to, give them the gift of inspiration, and letting them know how much they are worth, and hopefully learning, some golden nuggets when it comes to, styling their personal lives. Okay. All right. Drop a comment if you got questions. Give me some also ideas for other segments that you would like to see in future shows. 2024 is going to be a blast, and you're going to be right there with me. All right. All right. Have a great Christmas holiday, everyone. And I will see you next week. Bye for now.